today's edition of Back Roads of Illinois. We were bringing you lasted for farming sources and information sponsored by AgriGold. We're glad you're here on a Monday afternoon. I am Cesar Delgado. I am your host of today's program. We were talking with Tyler Shau from agmarkets.net on the commodities markets with Tyler. Next week will be the Commodities Classic in Denver. It will be held on March 1st, -5th in Denver, Colorado. Otherwise, this is your rural news sponsored by AgriGold in Central Illinois. The commodities groups asked the Doge to review of the funds from the program to the conventional programs for the farmers. Tariffs is depending on this weekend in Mexico and Canada for this weekend. Some traders are concerned about the tariffs. China put in 25%. This week from Washington, D.C. is the Ag Outlook on this Friday at 1 Central Time for the Outlook Forum. This has been your rural news for this afternoon. This is your commodities markets for this afternoon, sponsored by Kyle Bumstead from Allendale Incorporated. The grains markets are down for today. Corn and beans prices are down because the end of the month fundamental. March corn is down at 3 to 6 cents. May corn is down at 5 to 10 cents. The fundamental is low on the beans markets for profit taking. March beans is down at 8 to 6 cents. May beans are down at 5 to 10 cents. Chicago wheat is down at 5 to 10 cents for April contract. Let's see what's going on with the livestock markets. Cash cattle is up for this week at 3 to 5 cents. Cash cattle weights is up at 199.61. Cattle markets is up at 3 to 6 cents on the quarter. April cattle is up at 9 to 6 cents. June cattle is up at 5 to 10 cents. Feeder cattle is up for today as well. March feeder cattle is up at 3 to 6 cents. April feeder cattle is up at 3 to 6 cents. Lean hogs is up for today. Cash hogs is up at 5 to 10 cents. April hogs is up at 4 to 6 cents. June hogs is up at 5 to 10 cents. This has been your commodities markets for this afternoon. We are going to have a conversation about the commodities markets with Tyler Shau from agmarkets.net. Hey, Tyler, how are you? With the cold weather is in North Dakota?
We have come out of the deep freeze. We spent a week ago on Monday and Tuesday. We had lows in the -40s. I had issues with some water problems at our place. The office or my office is out in one of my barns, and we had a problem with the septic line as well as a water line. We got that resolved early last week, and just say it was pretty cold, but cattle all made it through. Horses look good, so we survived. We were able to stay warm in the house. So thank God for heaters and warm clothes. And then this week's been the opposite. Heck, we were 50 degrees yesterday, so I was actually outside in a hooded sweatshirt doing some work and playing in the mud. So we welcome the mud. It's been a pretty cold February so far. Looking forward to warming up and moving into March.
I'm excited about this week in central Illinois with the temperature around the corner of the planting season.
Yeah, it's not far away. It's coming. It'll come on a lot quicker than anyone realizes.
Yeah, we were in the cold weather in central Illinois. However, it will be warm for this week. Let's discuss about the corn markets. What is the fundamental on the corn markets for right now with the grains prices?
Well, all grains kind of took it on the chin today. It was kind of a ugly day if you're sitting in my chair, mostly red on my screen and nearly down a dime, and all grains. Corn settled down 8 3/4 in March, 4 1/4 in December 25. March beans were down 10 1/2. Your November beans were down 8, and all three of your wheat classes were down double digits, around that 10 to 11 cents in your nearby contracts. Um, the market kind of took an approach that maybe this acreage increase is getting real. That's some of the comments that I've heard. Here's some people out there throwing out 95 million acres of corn, which would be pretty negative. I don't know that, like, to me, that doesn't seem like anything that just popped up over the weekend. All of a sudden, traders are paying attention to it. Um, it just kind of felt like we had a Friday technical picture that just wasn't all that rosy, and this market came into the day and just couldn't find buyers. Now, I would say all of them seem to find buyers at some pretty significant support levels. So it'll be interesting to see how we come into tonight if those buyers keep buying it. Maycorn traded down to 495 1/4, hovered around 495 1/4 to 496 for a large portion of the midday, and then finally kind of came off those lows. So it seemed to attract buying there, couldn't attract a lot, and so buyers and sellers were kind of in a little gridlock at that moment. You do got some news coming out of South America where maybe planting is picking up pace and they're getting that crop in a little faster. They're getting some of the beans off, so that's probably leading to some of this as well. But overall, I wouldn't say there was just a ton of news that drove markets down today over the weekend, as much as maybe just some technical selling that occurred from, the inability to punch through some of those resistance levels late Thursday and Friday of last week.
What is on the December corn? Tyler, how
So
is the weather in southern hemisphere?
southern Southern Hemisphere, one of the things we were just looking at with our friend Eric Snodgrass was it is looking like it's drying up in Brazil. It appears like they're going to be lacking some moisture as we move, uh, through the planting season. Now, remember, they usually have a dry season comes on April, May time frame. So they like to get that safrinha crop in the ground and catch some of these um, early spring rains, late winter, early spring rains to kind of get that crop off and going. And as of right now, just they're not getting them. So there's some concern there. Argentina has turned wetter. There's some talk that that's helping the late season soybeans that are yet to be harvested. Getting a little shot of rain on some of those is helping the crops. At least that's what the Rosario Grain Exchange came out and said today. So we'll have to kind of see. I wouldn't, our opinion is on old crop beans or beans that are being harvested now in Brazil, anyhow, the weather probably has very little impact unless it would just turn really wet. But that doesn't seem to be in the picture. It's actually the opposite, where it seems a little too dry. So old crop beans, probably not anything on the table there. If anything, maybe a little friendly just because it's helping finish off that crop in Argentina. But the story might be the drying out in Brazil and safrinha second crop corn going in the ground.
Of course, What is your thoughts on the cattle markets with these cattle trend for right now? I am wondering if there are some concerns about this cattle prices.
I thought there was some concern. One of the things I like to remind people is you've got a record long in the feeder calf market with managed money funds. The feeder calf market is a fairly low volume, illiquid market. So anytime you get into those positions, you've got to be concerned about speculators running for the door and the door being only so wide. So that's always a concern. But the thing that you got to remember, the feeder calf market is settled by the cash market, or it's a cash settled market that's settled by the feeder calf index. And right now the feeder calf index is pushing back to all time highs. We put an all time high in on January 30th at 281.68, and we fell off of that by February 13th. So just 2 weeks later, we had dropped about seven and a half bucks, and now we've rallied back up. We're back over 279. So we're within a couple bucks of a record high on the index. That's a positive sign for the March feeders. Those two have got to converge over the next basically 4 weeks. And our approach right now, this could change, but just seeing what we're seeing in the cash market it's most likely that the futures market continues to find some strength since the cash market just doesn't want to give up. People are still buying these cattle, and so if they're still buying them, that means the price is staying high and we're bidding it up, and futures will react to that. So I do think if we get that rally in the futures, it's pertinent for the cow calf rancher or anybody that has bought calves to maybe background or run on grass this summer. Be looking to get some puts or LRP or some type of hedge in place again, because we've seen every time this board gets in that upper 270s to 280s, it tries to run out of steam, wants to sell off. Maybe the next time will be the time we push through it. But good risk management says there's a lot of air under this thing. You should probably do something.
How is the cash cattle markets for today in Northern Plains? Steer prices are 199.61 Tyler.
Yeah, in the Northern Plains, we're still seeing strong cash prices. I actually haven't gotten anything across my desk today on any fat cattle trading in the Northern Plains. I probably will here after a bit, but have not gotten anything yet. And then, I haven't heard anything in the cash markets on auctions in North or South Dakota. I got a couple customers that are cattle buyers that are in barns. Reached out to them earlier, but they were still selling stock cows, so I haven't heard anything on the feeder calf market. So don't have a ton of information for you right now.
Do you have any final thoughts on the ag outlook for this Friday?
No, I mean, pay attention. The Ag Outlook Forum is this weekend, Thursday, Friday. Our own Matt Bennett's going to be speaking at it, and we'll have to kind of see what they come up with. Our expectation right now is they're going to come out with higher corn acres for the 25 crop year than what we saw in the 24, and lower acres in soybeans, and we'll kind of have to see, just what the extent of that is as we move forward.
What is your thoughts on the planting intention report on March?
My thoughts, I mean, bear in mind, this is based on what I hear from my customers. The one thing I can tell you, at least in North Dakota, there will be fewer acres of soybeans. Most likely, a lot of those acres going to corn and some spring wheat and some other specialty crops, sunflowers, and some stuff like that, where there's some good contracts that guys can get act of God clauses on and get some some production contracts above cost of production. So I would foresee much lower acres where I'm at, and an increase in corn. From the sounds of it, you're going to see that increase in corn really all across the U.S. So I would guess you're going to see a fairly lofty planting intentions report, at least for when we get that there in late March. on the corn acres and much lower on soybean acres. So it'll be interesting to see if what we're hearing is what farmers actually report on those surveys.
Thanks, Tyler.
You bet. Always good to visit with you, Caesar. Have a good week.
We will talk to you soon, Bobby. This is Tyler Shau from agmarkets.net on back roads of Illinois. Thanks to Tyler Shau from agmarkets.net. This been back roads of Illinois. I'm Cesar Delgado. You have a great day.